Yeah, by the way, everyone should follow Rand's wife, Kelly Paul, because every time someone tells a Rand Paul's neighbor joke, she takes their head off, and it's just a glorious thing to see.
As well, she should. Somebody that doesn't know Rand or Kelly Paul should have that attitude. This is his wife.
Right.
She sat there when he had broken ribs, had trouble breathing, was in extreme pain. She had to witness that and deal with it. And yeah, she should take umbrage anytime somebody says remotely anything like that.
Yeah, but to your point, Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi should take umbrage to that.
Absolutely. Nancy Pelosi's daughter had fun with cheering Rand Paul's neighbor.
Yeah.
And here we are with the thing with Paul Pelosi and the attack and whatnot.
So there's something to be said along those lines for just the extreme divisiveness and tribalism, and this goes back to a Mike Lee theory that I quote quite a bit, that the more and more that we centralize power and the more and more that we have this imperial presidency that seems to be allowed to do whatever it wants, whenever it wants, in hopes that maybe the courts will strike it down the excesses, the fight for political power becomes more visceral and more violent. And so I think there's a realness to claims that the more that everything, the most important election of our lifetime, and everything matters, and democracy is dead if we don't win this election. I think it does stoke the risk of actual violence.
I think that's true. Look, a lot of people, and look, I vote Republican often, but I'm not, they suck. The Democrats suck. I'm not that. I voted Libertarian many times. But to the degree that you can paint the other side as some sort of existential threat, that they are terrorists, that, basically anybody who votes for Trump is the American version of ISIS, you will commit violence, you will censor their speech, you will have no problem with larger institutions censoring their speech in a way that maybe you wouldn't have prior, because you think in a liberal society, I have an opinion, Matt Kibbe, you have an opinion. We might disagree, but we both respect the right to have our opinions. That's not where we are at this point.
Yeah.
When the Biden administration can float something like a disinformation governance board, and a major poll can show that 67% of Democrats think this is a good idea,
Yeah.
that a federal agency should regulate citizen speech, we're in a different place.
Yeah.
You talked about violence. People say, or on the Democratic side say, January 6th was something unique, and, we can never do that, but this is how Republicans are. I was embarrassed as hell on January 6th for my country. I thought it was a terrible day, but it wasn't an insurrection by a foreign state trying to take over the government. It was a bunch of yahoos running around acting silly. The idea that the people on the left, let's say that many people were gathered at near the Capitol on the day the Roe decision came down, and a left speaker of some sort said something, you don't think that they could have done the same thing in the same situation? They could. And I don't say that gladly. But whether it's right or left, people will go to the lengths of violence, censoring speech, things you wouldn't do in a liberal society, because they have it in their head that the other side is so bad at this point that that's the measures we should be able to go to. I think it's dangerous.
Yeah, it's very, very dangerous.